Well, good afternoon, TRTA members. So glad that you're joining us today. The setup, as you might be able to tell if you're a frequent viewer, is a little bit different. And it is because I am on the road and traveling. And let me first of all say how grateful I am to all of our TRTA members that are making it possible for myself as well as other TRTA leaders to go out at this time of the year and meet with our local chapters, meet with our districts. We're really gearing up for many exciting things that are coming in the rest of this year, but certainly gearing up especially for the activities that are officially being kicked off for the Retired Teachers Association, TRTA's campaign to win Proposition 9. And so this is going to be, I believe, an interesting program, and one that we've got some material that we want to cover, kind of give you a snapshot as to the plan, and in a lot of ways how you personally can get involved in Proposition 9 and the work that we're doing to win. But I want to begin the program by saying a special thank you to our friends in the Texas legislature, some who I know are watching and some that may be tied up with other things. But I believe it is appropriate to begin by saying that we are grateful for the work that was done in the 88th regular session to provide in my memory, the first that we'd ever seen a benefit enhancement passed where we had both a supplemental payment that was part of that benefit enhancement, as well as a cost of living increase that we are still working to secure during the November election. But I have been getting a lot of messages today from TRTA members that were eligible to receive the supplemental check. And just as a brief recap, people that were eligible to receive the supplemental check had to be age 70 and up by the end of this past August to be eligible. And between 70 and 74, the amount was $2,400, and anything 75 and up, the amount is $7,500. And I did get, I've gotten a few folks that have commented about the tax being withheld. I believe that TRS did send out sometime in July a notice saying that taxes were going to be withheld, depending on levels of income. That tax may be different for those 70 to 74-year-olds. And I believe in the letter that I read from TRS, it talked about a 20% tax withholding on the $7,500, but that was dependent upon some choices that you could have made about rolling it or rolling a portion of it. So those questions have come in, and I am responding to some of those. But if you've sent me a text or an email with those questions in the last couple of hours, I have been on the road, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to get back to you. But if you're watching this and you're wondering about that, you might be able to find that letter from TRS that was sent out, I believe, sometime in July, mid-July, talking about tax withholdings. We were also believe that the supplemental checks were going to be distributed by the end of September. And so I just really want to say to Director Brian Guthrie, who is in charge of the day-to-day operational aspects of TRS as their executive director, as well as to the TRS Board of Trustees, that we're so grateful for the work that was put into making sure that those payments got out in a timely manner. And I know, just again, repeating what our members have said, those who've been receiving it are incredibly grateful, and we keep pushing on because we know that we're here to talk about the other portion of the work that we worked on during the legislative session, which is the cost of living adjustment. And we've been building up some momentum to this point to get people fired up and ready to go, and really doing a lot of pre-planning so that when we are ready to execute those plans, we'll be ready. And so been talking about how the real campaign period of time does not truly begin until after Labor Day. and then to, I think, sort of just culminate into why I think today is such an appropriate day, not only because we're here talking to all of you and you're here to engage on this important subject, also because those TRS payments are going out, but our friends, and I would say the folks that we know at the Houston Chronicle, even today, released an editorial board commentary on what was being proposed with Prop 4 and Prop 9. Of course, Prop 9 is the one that our retirees are particularly interested in as it relates to the cost of living adjustment. And Roy, I think we can probably put that on the screen now. Maybe. Okay, so if you are a subscriber to the Houston Chronicle, or if you would like to pick up a copy of this, the editorial in today's paper does talk about their support and belief that Prop 9 should be passed. And just to kind of read the headline of it in case you can't see it, it's ballot measures will give Texans much needed tax relief and give our retired teachers a vital raise. And in this, it talks about the bipartisan nature of Proposition 9. As many of you know, in a legislative session, it can be contentious on different issues. But as we will talk about during this presentation, even today, there was nothing but unanimous support for our retired school employees who would benefit from receiving the proposed cost of living adjustment if we win this November. So, Roy, I think it's okay to bring that down. And I do know that a lot of you do subscribe to that newspaper, and some of you may see this in other versions. I don't know if they're going to print this again in the San Antonio newspaper. The San Antonio Express News and the Houston Chronicle, I think, share similar ownership, or at least they are connected. And so my hope is that we will see editorial board statements from the major news outlets all over the state of Texas. I've read some articles on different groups' websites, including the League of Women Voters, Community Impact. There are a whole bunch of groups that are starting to put out media on this Proposition 9. Our job as an organization is to really rally support and to educate, and then to combine that support, that education into action. And the action, of course, will be voting during either early voting or on November 7th. And so how do we do that? What are the tools that we have to be able to get us to the point where we can engage and ultimately secure victory for the cost of living adjustment? So I think it's probably fair to put out there for all of us a goal, an expectation. And for those of us that are leaders in this effort, our goal, of course, is to win on the cost of living adjustment for our retirees. But in doing that, we have a number of opportunities that present themselves in our mission to continuously improve the retirement security for our current members and all future retirees. And a lot of my presentation today, and my hope is that the excitement that all of you will have about doing this will carry over into the action steps that we're taking. And so I believe that a lot of those opportunities have to do with educating the public on why it is so important that we continue in these efforts, and also to bring in more of our fellow TRS retirees that may not yet be a member of this organization, but can be educated more about what we do and how we do it, and why it is so vital to keep them involved and get them involved in our organization after this fight to win the proposition is ultimately won. And so I'll begin with some comments that I've said before. I believe we're going to win. I believe that we're going to win in a big way. And I believe that getting out there and working for it is going to help us cross the finish line. I certainly do not take anything for granted. And I know that our TRTA board of directors, our leaders with our district presidents, our state legislative committee, our state committees, our chapter presidents, our chapter legislative members, our TRTA members who may not belong to a chapter, but are part of the organization. We are all marching forward together. It's an army of about 100,000 people that are rallying the state of Texas to support Prop 9. And that army of about 100,000 folks is only a quarter of the total population that will actually benefit from Prop 9 passing. So in other words, there's about 100,000 TRTA members that I believe are championing this cause and are going to fight for this cause. They're going to work tirelessly for it, and they're going to do everything they can. And one of those victory items that we have for our organization is to inspire more of our TRS retirees to be a part of this effort. And I believe that if you're watching this and you're not yet a TRTA member, I'm challenging myself. I'm not challenging you. I'm challenging myself and our leaders to prove to you that we are an organization that wants to take all of these issues very seriously, that we are ready to go, that we will work every day to earn your respect and to earn your participation. And there are a lot of reasons for you to continue to be a part of this effort. This is probably one of the most significant legislative achievements that we have seen in the last decade. And I believe, as do many of my friends in the legislature, as do other members of the public, that this was a huge deal, and it was one that is going to help hundreds of thousands of individuals. But like everything, you don't fix big problems in one fell swoop. And so there is more work to be done. There are future action items that we will be undertaking and working on. And so we, in communicating as an association with our fellow TRS retirees, are asking you today to get involved with our efforts as an organization, to learn more about us and to help us right now push a message of support for Prop 9. And there are several ways that you can do that. The first way that you can do that is by getting involved with your chapter, your TRTA chapter, and asking for some of our TRTA push cards. Now, these are 3x5 cards that we have designed and developed to get people committed to voting for Prop 9. We have about 150,000 of these cards that we want to hand out. I would love to have to reprint tens of thousands of more of these 3x5 cards. And I would encourage all of you to attend your chapter, your local chapter meetings, and ask for some of these cards. And so that way, excuse me, take them to church, take them to local organizations that you belong to, take them on a walk, hand them out to your neighbors, go door to door, go say hi to people, just deliver these cards to folks. And really the most important aspect of this card, and I'm going to ask Roy, our producer, if he can put a copy of this card on the screen so they can see it. I want to look at, Roy, the first section of this card, because I really do believe it is the most important aspect of this card. This 3x5 card talks about voting for Prop 9. And it talks about a pension increase for retired teachers. And we've talked about this language before. So much of this campaign is a political campaign designed around getting people to commit to voting with us. And so many people who are not within the TRS world may not know our lingo. If you just kind of cut to the chase with them and say, hey, Prop 9 is about a cost of living adjustment for retired teachers, a pension increase for retired teachers, that general public knows what you're talking about, and they're clued in more than just retired classroom teachers are going to get that cost of living adjustment or that pension increase. It's a 3x5 card with a very direct message that will easily resonate with people who may not know all of our vocabulary. They may not know all of our the intricacies of who works under TRS and all the different positions. But this piece of the card, this piece of information is a visualization of who will be receiving this much needed pension increase and the voting for Prop 9. I've said before, and I hope in some ways it just sort of jokingly does become kind of true, that people are just so ready to vote for Prop 9 that they can't wait for October 23rd, the start of early voting, to get here, just so they can, get this out of their head that, I voted for Prop 9. I know I'm going to vote for it. I've got everybody that I know is telling me vote for Prop 9, and then they get out and do it, and they're so excited to do it. But if you look at the backside of the card, it gives a very clear, concise, easy to deliver message on voting for Prop 9. You all who are watching this video presentation today are some of the most professional advocates I have ever met in my life. You're great educators, you're great organizers, you are people that are respected, and you are tremendous advocates, and we can give more than 3 reasons to support Prop 9. The problem that we sometimes run into is that most people just don't want to give us that amount of time of theirs to explain all of the reasons why to support this important pension increase for our retired school employees. And so we've given 3, and we've hit on them before, but I'm going to hit on them again just quickly so that you can begin to recite them easily, whether you're looking at the card or not. Number 1, no public school retiree since 9/1/2004 has ever received a cost of living adjustment. That point alone, you probably win the support of the person that you're talking to. But if you look at the next statement, most retired teachers are not eligible to receive Social Security. Therefore, a TRS pension is their primary source of income. And you and I both know that there are many, many, many thousands of Texans that simply do not understand that very critical point in our messaging in supporting of Prop 9. But it is one that when they know that there has not been a pension increase for school retirees since 9/1/2004, and that most folks have never received a cost of living increase, along with a lack of Social Security, it is almost impossible to tell you, no, we do not believe this is the right thing. But just in case there is still some doubt in someone's mind about voting for Prop 9, we go to point number 2. And point number 2 is that this will not create a tax increase. The Texas legislature has already set aside the funds to make this happen with voter approval. Roy, you can come back to me for a second. So when we talk about not having a tax increase, I mean, clearly the legislature had the funds necessary from this last legislative session to get this public policy matter passed. And they're using the extra revenue that came into the state over the last couple of years to pay for this in full. Many of you know that my wife is an active teacher in Dripping Springs, and to our active teachers, we know and we can assure you that there is no contribution increase that is going to be asked of our active school employees to help pay for or to subsidize this much needed pension increase. Now, I personally believe that many of our school employees, because they love our retirees, that was something that even during the legislative session, some of the teacher groups were, talking about, is there a way to make this happen? And, how can we do this? How can we work together? It's just the nature of our school employees, because they support our retirees, and they know someday they're going to retire too. And we want to look out for their best interests. But the legislature took care of that. The legislature said there's no need for our actives to pay more through contributions. There's no need for the teacher retirement system to go into a financial hole because of paying the need to pay for this over time. And there's no need for us to ask the taxpayers for a tax increase to pay for this. We have the money. We have the legislature believed they had a lot of extra money. In fact, they had so much extra money, and because they wanted to meet so many of the needs of the state of Texas through their regular budgeting matters, they needed to spend and wanted to spend more on these efforts that they had during the regular session, which answers the question, if anyone is asked, well, why do we need to vote on this? I know you deserve it. I think you should get it. But I mean, why do we have to actually vote on this on November 7th and during this election cycle? And the truth of the matter is, it was simply a budget matter. The legislature had their regular budget. They have rules in place that say, hey, you can choose to spend this much money in a budget cycle. If you've got more money that you want to spend, there are ways to do it. You can take certain votes. You can do certain things. But ultimately, there was more budget that was going to be spent, more items that were going to be appropriated dollars, and the legislature put together a referendum for our Texas voters to go to the polls and choose the items that they would ultimately support, including the as you saw on the Houston Chronicle editorial, Proposition 4, which is the property tax reduction, as well as Proposition 9, our proposition, the cost of living increase for retirees, our pension increase. Those matters will be put to the public for them to choose to vote for. And so the reason that we're doing this is because if the legislature asks the voters to approve it, and they do, the money can be allocated the way that the legislature set it up to be done, while at the same time they have their regular budget in place, and it just becomes a way of funding these items that the legislature could ultimately pass and get accomplished for this biennium. And so it doesn't set any new precedent. It's not creating an authoritative role of the voter over these matters in the future. The legislature made sure of that. So it is simply a budget matter, and we need the support of our friends in Texas. And so, as TRTA members, as perhaps soon to be TRTA members, these 3x5 cards are available right now to you at our local chapters to go and get some of these and hand them out to anyone and everyone that is willing to take one. But I would probably say, I'm happy to give you this card, but I would also like for you to say that you will make a plan to go and vote on November 7th, or during the early voting, October 23rd to November 2nd. So that's only one of the items. Now, I'm on the road, as I said earlier, and originally on my jacket, I had a TRTA Prop 9 button, and yet I ran into, in the hotel that I'm staying in, I ran into a TRS retiree, and we started having a conversation about Prop 9 because of the button that I had on my suit coat. So, Roy, if you could show us the button, I'd love to talk to our folks about the button. All right, thank you so much. Now, what you see on your screen is just a digital image of this button. And there is a really exciting opportunity. If you are one of the folks that is wearing one of these buttons, we are asking that all of our members who receive a Vote for Prop 9 button, they wear as much as they want. Color coordinate every outfit that you've got between now and November 7th with this button. And I'm only sort of joking on this, but we would ask that you would especially wear this button every Tuesday. Now, November 7th is a Tuesday. It's the second Tuesday in November. We all know that's election day. And we are asking that we get in the habit of across the state of Texas, these thousands of buttons that we've produced, that you will wear this button every Tuesday and find someone that you can you can talk to about Prop 9. My guess is, just like here in the hotel, somebody will see this big, beautiful button that I had on. They say, I'm a retired teacher. I know about Prop 9, and where can I get one of those buttons? And my answer was, you can have this one. And so I've given my button away with a commitment that this person is going to wear that button every Tuesday. So if you're receiving this button, my hope is that you will remember to wear this button every Tuesday. Roy, you can come off that screen. Between now and the end of our election cycle. And again, if you want to color match that thing to every outfit that you're going to wear, great. And if you do, I would love to see you post that on your social media. So, but if you can only commit to wearing it at least just one day a week, please do it on Tuesdays. And we're going to be promoting Tuesdays every week between now and the end of this election cycle as Button Tuesday. And so that way you can engage the voters weekly and ask them to vote for Prop 9. We also have some other items, as you all know, that we're about ready to start deploying over 12,000 yard signs across the state of Texas. Roy, I'm not sure if you can pull up that image of our yard sign. And those of you who've run campaigns and you've been in one of these political campaigns in the past, you know that yard signs are such a great way of getting your information to be in the minds of those voters. And we have produced, as I said, over 12,000 yard signs that we are deploying across the state. We are going to start putting yard signs out closer to the end of this month and the beginning of October. For one thing, y'all, it is still super hot. And in our volunteers, I know you're going to work like crazy to get this information out. But wouldn't it be nice to be putting yard signs out when it's not 105 degrees? I just don't want anybody out there, getting heat exhaustion by trying to put one of these signs in somebody's yard when it's 105 degrees. So if for no other reason, we are going to wait a little bit longer before our yard signs go out. More so the end of September and the beginning of October. Don't be surprised if you see a few of them from time to time, and then more as we go along. There's some exciting opportunities coming, and I know our TRTA leaders are watching this. You might, as chapter leaders, as district leaders, want to save a few of these yard signs so that if you have and are able to get, thank you, Roy, for putting the yard sign out. You're going to see as we get closer to the election time, we will have groups of folks that will stand near polling places and hold up our yard signs and engage the public to be out and support Proposition 9. And so if you have a yard that would be a great spot for a yard sign, please let our chapter leaders know. Contact our district presidents, let our folks know. You certainly can contact us through Facebook, and we can try to put you in touch with the right chapter or the district, depending on where you live. But as I said, these yard signs are ready to go by the end of the month. They are already sent out and have been distributed to our districts. And I just want to say, Roy, you can come off the yard sign. We have tremendous grassroots leadership. Our 20 district presidents are doing a fantastic job of putting these materials together, to organizing, getting our chapters equipped. You chapter presidents and our leaders in our chapters, you're awesome. You are the largest retired school employees organization in the country. And you are all rising to this occasion to get this material out. You're doing a fantastic job. And if you are not yet a part of one of our chapters, I strongly encourage you to join in this exciting moment and be a part of this special opportunity that we have to promote this organization and to continue to invite people to support our retired school employees of Texas with more improvements as the years start to unfold, and we see the legislature remaining committed to supporting our school employee retirees. So y'all are doing a great job. Yard signs are out there. You're all doing a tremendous job with that, and we're very, very grateful. So those are some of the materials that we have. We know that you, as TRTA members, this huge army that we have of folks, can also continue to inspire more activity in support of Proposition 9. If you think about this as a marathon, we are still not yet at that final turn. We're not ready to start the sprint just yet. We've been running and we've been running and we've been running really since the end of May, when the legislature adjourned, and we knew that we were going to go through this process. We saw the governor sign the bill. We really knew that we were in a race, and that race, though, was not a sprint. It's a marathon. And so we're getting to the point where we're about ready to put in our final kick. But just to be very honest, that is not really going to happen until about October 23rd. Before you can vote, you've got to be registered. And so there is still time to get people registered to vote. And we encourage you to do some of that work with folks. But before I get to that point, let me also say that most of you that are watching this are watching me on Facebook or on YouTube. These are two social networking platforms where you're engaging with other people. Some of you may have your own Facebook page. You may have your own Instagram page. You may have a LinkedIn profile for some second career that you started after teaching. Many of you have the Nextdoor app, and there are all kinds of social media engagement points. But we know Facebook is a big one. We know that Instagram is a big one. And we as an organization are going to be launching a much bigger social media effort on September 14th. We're putting all of this together. We're going to get it ready to be sent out so that on September 14th, you will have an inside line from the TRTA that gives some instructions on how to create some more social media buzz around this. And there are plenty of folks that are watching right now. Just so you know, as an organization, we had already pre-positioned a number of our social media influencers across the state of Texas to get some buzz out there about this event, about Proposition 9. And I want to say thank you to our media team, to Roy Varney, Cindy Sharp, our board of directors, our state legislative committee, and others, district presidents, as you helped me identify some real social media influencers. Folks, we've got people that are TRS retirees, active teachers. We've got people in our social media influence side that had nothing to do with education. They went to public schools and they're educated, but they were never a teacher. They were never worked for the school district, but they have their own social media group. And we have pre-positioned those folks and their work over the last month so that we would generate some buzz. And right now on our TRTA Facebook page, we posted about Proposition 9, which has almost 500 shares. And so if you're watching this and you want to go to our TRTA Facebook page and share our post on that, I would encourage you to do that. Now, as I said, we're going to send that message out to our entire membership on September 14th for that engagement. But if you're watching this and you're one of those folks who wants to be, active right now and get that done, we would love to do that. We've got to cut through that noise. We've got to be able to make our own noise and get people excited and paying attention to this. And so, social media is such a crucial way of doing that. So I talked before about voting. The importance of obviously getting the vote out. I mean, that is what we are trying to do. We are trying. The hardest thing I think we have a chance to do really on a day-to-day basis is to get someone to do something, especially if it's not something they would normally do. I mean, we don't normally in our day-to-day activities go voting. I mean, it's just not something that we do. And so, there are some people that just say, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to do it. But the probably the most important thing in this entire discussion, which I probably should have led with, and I go back against live, so you can't go back and reset it. But the thing that I really want you all to know more than anything else is that we have got to drive voter turnout. That is our single biggest challenge in this whole discussion, is driving voter turnout. And I believe that if you work at driving voter turnout in a certain way, we're going to be able to do that. And so what we are asking our members to do is to have a list, a physical piece of paper that lists 10 people that you personally know, that you can write down their name and get their best contact number and have a column that has a date next to it. So name, contact phone number, and date. Put 10 names of people that you believe will do what you're asking them to do. They cannot tell you no for whatever reason. And I know a lot of you. I know thousands of our TRTA members, and those thousands of people that I know, I would probably never say no to. And so if you have those kinds of relationships with at least 10 people, or however many you can get, if it's 5, then 5. If it's 50, then it's 50. But let's, for the sake of argument, for the sake of what we're trying to do as an organization, if we get 10 commitments, each of us get 10 commitments, then we know we can drive voter turnout. And I've got my list. I've already got my list of 10. I'm working on 10 more. I hope by election time I will have at least 50 names that I will have with phone numbers that I can call and encourage them to go and vote between October 23rd and November 2nd. I keep saying that as the start of early voting. So much easier, as we all know, to get out October 23rd and November 2nd. And then if they miss that date, then they have November 7th. There are a lot of folks on here that are election judges, and there's some folks that are watching here today that know a lot more about voting procedures. And I've been talking to some of our chapter leaders about that. We're going to provide some information from some of our friends at League of Women Voters and some other groups that talk about options for voting. When can I get a mail-in ballot? What is the deadline for getting registered to vote, which is October 10th, by the way. So if someone is saying, well, I haven't voted in years, I'm not even a registered voter, great, let's get you registered right now. Here's the way to do it. You have until October 10th. You can get registered. I just moved here. I listen to all of these jokes about all the folks that are moving to Texas. Well, good. We've got them now. Let's get them to vote and support Proposition 9. This is a great way to make them feel like true Texans, to get them involved in our election cycle right now. So let's get these folks registered. Let's make our lists. And I know that, that's one of those things you really can't post on social media, but you can keep that personal list. And if I'm coming to your chapter, I'd love to know if you've seen this video presentation and if you have found your 10. So find your 10 and let's get them committed to vote, get their name, their phone number, the date that they are voting for Prop 9, and then verify that on the time that the early voting starts until they actually vote. So drive voter turnout. That is the name of the game for winning Prop 9 and winning in a big way. And so let's get those 10 people and make sure that we continue to drive voter turnout. Now, many of you have contacted me and said, look, Tim, it's not that I don't support Prop 9. I'm going to vote for Prop 9, but there really isn't anything in Prop 9 that is benefiting me. I retired September 1st, 2020 or after. So the cost of living adjustment isn't coming my way. I support Prop 9. I'm glad Prop 9 is there. The amount that I am getting is less than what I would have hoped it would have been. And to all of those things, I know we've talked about them in previous shows. And I just want to say that I truly understand where you're coming from. I am grateful for the support that you're going to give us on Prop 9, and that you're supporting all of those retirees that may be getting a little bit more or are getting something. And I just want to assure all of our members, or anyone who is not yet a member of TRTA but may be watching this, this conversation about Prop 9, it is not the beginning. I mean, this is not the first time the Retired Teachers Association has worked on and secured a cost of living raise for our TRS retirees. It's not the end of this discussion. Not the beginning and not the end, y'all. This is just it's a continuation of what we do as an organization to try and help our school employee retirees in Texas. And we know that our Texas Teacher Pension Fund is strong. It is strong because of the commitment of the legislature. It's strong because our active school employees are making their contributions. It's strong because our state has never taken a pension funding holiday. It's strong because we have good leadership at our TRS Board of Trustees and good investment managers and good leadership who manage the teacher retirement system. But it's also strong because you have worked for years and years to make sure that there's public policy that keeps the system strong. And so what I'm doing today is I'm asking for all public school employees, retirees, all active school employees to support Prop 9, to get out and vote for Prop 9, to work in this regard so that when we tally the votes and we see that the state of Texas rallied for Prop 9 in a big, big way, that we will be able to go back with our friends in the legislature and say, hey, Prop 9 was a success. We have achieved these great things together. These were some of the things that we were not able to achieve through Proposition 9 and through the 88th legislative session. Let's start working on those things this coming future legislative session. So winning on this matter is about the immediacy of fixing an issue where many of our retirees have never had a raise. Over 70% of our school employee retirees have never had a pension increase of any kind. We need to end that record. We need to secure this Prop 9 and get that pension increase on the books. And at the same time, we are going to rally this state. We're going to rally our TRS retirees. We're going to rally our active teachers. We're going to rally all Texans that support the great work that our school employees and our school retirees do and have done for the state of Texas. And we are going to tell them, and we're going to make sure that everyone knows that the teacher retirement system of Texas and those who depend on it can depend on the voters to come and support an initiative that does not require a tax increase, that is going to help people who do not, by and large, have Social Security, and that many of them have never had a raise, and some have gone as long as 20 years without a raise of any kind in their retirement benefits. And we are going to rally that support so that when this is over, we will have an overwhelming majority of the voters who showed up and said, I'm here for Prop 9. I am for it. I showed up to make sure that it happened. And my expectation as a Texan and as a voter is that we're going to continue to have good public policy that supports and helps these people, because these are the folks that have helped the state of Texas in so many ways. So that is in a large part the rally cry for our organization, not just to our members, but to rally those folks that are TRS retirees that may be looking for that right moment to join our effort and to start helping us in a more engaging way to join this organization, but also to rally the state of Texas around the idea of helping all school employee retirees, both with Prop 9 and as we go forward with public policy in the future. So I'm going to check my notes and take a quick breath while I look at this. Talked about driving the extreme voter turnout. We've talked about having your list of 10 folks and getting that done. we want to invite others to join us and be a part of this activity. We've talked about the distribution of materials. Our website is going to have some sample letters on it that you will be able to use. And we know that some of you may not want to have a yard sign. Maybe you don't get a yard sign. Some of you are great writers and you have connections with people that are in media. Some of you have sons or daughters or family members that work in media. And I know this because they called me and talked to me about anytime where there's a story about retired teachers getting a raise or benefit enhancement or something else. And so I know that many of them will want you to be kind of an expert voice in the things that are going on. I'm going to ask that you use our website for some of the information that we have about this. Again, the message is pretty simple. It's 3 points. It's nothing too extravagant. It's all of this is endorsed by the Texas Retired Teachers Association, and like I said, we'll have some sample editorials that if you'd like to write something to a newspaper, or if you want to put something on your social media, but you're not sure of all the ways to potentially talk about it, we're going to make that process easy for you, and you can use those as samples just to get yourself started. So that's on our website. We have a countdown clock. I don't know. I'm not looking at it right now, how many days we have left, but it's one less than what we did the day before. So, we've got to get after this and work on it. Re-emphasize that this is the real beginning of the push. I'm so glad to come here today live with you, knowing that in at least one of the statewide major newspapers, the Houston Chronicle, the editorial board is coming out and saying that Prop 9 is one that the voters should get out and support and vote for. So grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the work that all of you are doing. And I'm just trying to think of some of the other things that I want to talk about. I'm going to go to your comments and just see if there's some items there that I can look to. I will mention, because I always get this question, we did send out an inside line. If you're new and you've not seen us before, the inside line is our free e-newsletter. We sent out an update last week about Congressman Jody Arrington working on a bill that he filed for the repeal and a solution to the windfall of the nation provision. Really grateful for Congressman Arrington and his work on Ways and Means, and for working with TRTA and our friends at ATPE, specifically with the fire station out in Lubbock where he made the announcement. So grateful again for that ongoing effort. And we all stakeholders support each other and work towards getting solutions on big issues. We have all been working on some solution to windfall, and we're continuing to work on that now. But just to let you know, as an organization, we do and are working on those things, and you can find out more information about that on our website. Okay. I see that my team at the association is posting some resources that are available. You can find those links on Facebook and YouTube. And I see that one of our board members, Terry, is on here saying 55 days. Thank you so much, Terry, for that information. Seeing a lot of folks here that have visited before. And just because I'm in a really difficult and strange setup, I'm having to reach pretty far over to get to the computer. So I'm going to take a look at this. Roy, I'm going to play our special treat. We've got a little bit of a special treat, especially for those of you who may not know what TRTA is all about, or if you're just seeing us for the first time. And after our short little clip, then I'll come back and kind of wrap us up and say thank you for everybody being a part of this. So Roy, if you can, go ahead and set up our little treat. disappointed because nobody in that building over there heard you all scream the word COLA. So I thought we would try it for real this time. What do we want? All right. All right, so some of you saw some familiar faces in that video. Obviously, that was the TRTA day at the Capitol. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of hard work. It represents the very best of what this organization is all about, which is our members working to help school employee retirees in the great state of Texas. And you all really delivered. And now we are being called to a different task, which is to get this information out to the general public so that they know to vote for this important Proposition 9, the pension increase for retirees. And I know that you all rise to the occasion and that this is really second nature. You're some of the most creative, most impassioned people I've ever had a chance to get to know and work with. You're doing a great job. I saw a few questions in the chat box that we may take some time to reply to when this program is actually over. But I know some people are saying, where can I get these materials? You're going to get them at your local chapters. TRTA sent the materials through our districts. Our districts have started distributing to their chapters. Some of those chapters have had some meetings because they were meeting at the end of August or up until this point. Some of those districts are still now just distributing those materials. So I would encourage you to check out our Facebook, communicate to us through our social media, or send us an email. Or if you know where your chapters meet and how to get a hold of them, then and if you don't, we'll find a way to help you. Just let us know where you are and we can try to get you connected. But those materials are out there. The comments that I saw in the chat box that were, some folks asking, as I said earlier, voting for Prop 9 has nothing in it that is a trick. It's all very straightforward. It simply authorizes the money that the legislature already set aside to pay for this in full to actually go to the teacher retirement system and to pre-fund this cost of living increase for retirees so that it does not burden the pension fund. It doesn't burden the taxpayer. It won't burden our active school employees. The legislature is paying for it in full with unanimous support from the legislature to get this to happen. So the voters simply need to show up and vote for Prop 9. It is not creating any new connection between how the voters will vote on future raises for school employee retirees if legislatures choose to do something like that in other legislative sessions. There isn't anything about that at all. This is simply the legislature having extra revenue and applying that extra revenue with voter approval to ensure that this gets done this time to meet the budget needs that the state of Texas was working with in the last legislative session. It's very simple and straightforward. There are no tricks here. Vote for Prop 9. If you're a TRS retiree, vote for Prop 9. If you're an active school employee, vote for Prop 9. If you're a Texan that has benefited from our public education system in any way, whether it's your kids or you personally have benefited in some capacity from our public education system, and I assure you, the entire state of Texas has benefited and does benefit every day from our public education system. If that's you, if you're a Texan, vote for Prop 9. I can't think of any better group of people to go to the polls and support in this election cycle, November 7th, than our school employee retirees of Texas. Vote for Prop 9. Y'all, I will see you the second Tuesday of October, and we will go through an update of what our efforts are, what they're doing, and how we can be more effective, and how the election cycle is shaping up for Prop 9. So I will see you in about a month. Y'all have a great rest of September. Vote for Prop 9. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.